Hello. Um, I apologise for the state of the actual lighting in here. To be honest with you, this is quite bad lighting wise. Anyway, right. The reason why we're doing this is because light technology, in its whole entirety, um, is putting itself together. So, um, crystal computing is something which is slowly becoming a physical reality in the environment of the world. So I need to put down a few extras because if it goes into manufacturing, then you're going to need to know the reasons why some of the technology that goes with it has actually been developed. Um, Now, the energy structures of power storage, even though they are, some of them are being developed into energy liquids. Some of the old units, which are the solar panel and light plate units, all of it is designed for it to be seen as a new valve type technology. Now, the reason why it goes as a valve is mainly because it smooths out wave bands. So, because light technology uses the frequencies of light and all kinds of different wave bands, without having structure to be able to smooth out some of these waveband frequencies, um, it can actually cause a minor issue. So you've got things like if things are too sharp, or if things are too high frequency, or if things are too, um, say too low. To smooth out some of these waveband frequencies is a priority within the technology. If you're going to stick it into a spaceship, the reason why we are dealing with the new energy conduits and also the energy storage units is mainly because of the shielding and various other different areas of natural protection. And all these things need to be smoothed out to allow them to function in a better manner of a better way. So you've got like, let's say we've got the ship and we've got shielding around the ship. Then we have the light shielding that goes around the ship, which is basically a tailored laser light beam for the time being. And all of these frequencies, if they're too sharp or if they're too low or whatever, they all need smoothing out so they can actually function better. Um, Also, as well, if we're dealing with energy that's stored in stored in energy conduits, valve type technology, right? Then they also need smoothing out as well because you can't have things spiking off, right? When it comes to energy, now energy does have a desire to basically spark off into various different regions or various different areas, and it's a natural state in its pure state of not being tailored at all. So if it's not tailored, it will build up all kinds of energy structures, and then it'll spike off and it'll go off into other regions and propagate into various different other areas and all the rest. So to stop all this from happening, which is natural nature's way of uncontained energy structures, if we're talking about the atom that has an electron with an electron casing and a shield around it, well, that is the same process of its containment, and it's that helps smooth out. So the atom is the natural valve technology in creation, is the atom. All atoms that have various different electrons around them are creating different electron shells of different sizes, and also different energy structures as well. Each shell is slightly different to the next one. So when you look at it in creational nature, that is a natural valve. So all of these things that have these atoms in, the atoms are there designed to smooth out your waveband frequencies. If you have a structure without atoms in, then they're all very sharp and they're all very, it's all very not smooth at all, really. All of it is used in creation, though, for particular purposes. If we're going to stick what we've built for ourselves in a spaceship, though, you're going to need all these other things in place. So light technology computing crystal is one, right? Then you need the new valve technology is the next one, because it goes with your shielding and various other things of electromagnetic fields and all the rest. And also with it does better for sensor technology devices. So you can either have it so it's crisp and clear and everything's sharp, or you can have it so it's tailored under valve type technology. Now the valve type technology isn't the same as the valves that we've got now, right? The valves we've got now are designed specifically to work with all sorts of metals and coppers and various other different gases. The valves that I've got are designed for electrical energy. So you're going to have the coppers and the metals, but in the materials that the thing's made out of. So it won't actually be like a valve technology where you have a bit of copper and a whole lot of plates in it and all the rest, and it all does lots of different things. It's not like that. Even though the other, my solar panel and light plates technology build-up is very similar, but it works in a similar way. If you stick it in a valve environment, all that technology development into a valve environment, it will treat it very similar to a valve. But because it's for energy production and energy storage, all these things are designed specifically to work with one another and to work in junction with one another. It also gives us the external connection to the environment of space. So we need the connection to the external environment of space if we're going to do some things with it, right? So I do have a device which has been designed to work with resonance, and all resonance basically creates mild gravity waves. So you've got like so you've got kind of a resonance device underneath the ship, and then they will resonate the environment, or they will resonate in the environment, which basically creates different wave formations. And the ship basically is lifted up on top of the wave band structure, and is slightly lighter, right, in space. I know there's 0G in space, but it's slightly lighter in space because of the rippling of the environment. It's not really the rippling of the environment, it's really the wave band structure creation underneath the ship that ripples the environment to its radial diameter. And the ship is lifted up on top of the crest of the wave. Now, because it's lifted up and becomes lighter, inside the ship, anything of weight, right, increases in gravity. Now, it's only a mild increase, but of course, if it's something that we can build a good connection to and ripple it in a manner of a way which will build good gravity, any object inside the ship will enter a gravity field. And it's a volume of gravity which you can tailor by various other different ways of being able to have waveband structures bouncing off inside the actual ship as well. I mean, it's difficult to try and explain when so many scientists have actually said it's actually impossible to do. And I know people have proven it through all kinds of different ways of mathematical principles and all sorts of things. But you can actually generate this volume of gravity purely by using gravity wave formations in rippling space. But it also is the fact that the ship is lifted up at the same time. Now, because there's a waveband underneath it, right, in the reality of life, it does this, even though it doesn't happen in the reality of living, right? Because the waveband is a waveband, you've got an up and down to it. So the ship basically knows that it's being lifted up and then it's being dropped, it's being lifted up and it's being dropped, and it's being lifted up and it's being dropped. The reality of it, though, is that the ship always stays on top of the crest of the wave. So it never actually drops as drops. But because the structure goes up and down underneath it, right, and the ship stays on the wave, the environment inside the ship affects itself. So it goes light, heavy, light, heavy, light, heavy, right, inside the ship. So your body, as a massive weight, would experience probably a sickness, right? And you'd go lighter, heavier, lighter, heavier. Now the idea is that what happens is when you've got the energy storage technology units and its new valve development, if it was oscillated, right, then you get this, you get a stable oscillation. So instead of getting sick, right, because you're getting lighter and heavier, right? So it's a little bit like the roller coaster ride. If it's oscillated and then you put velocity into the actual ship as well, then you increase your gravity inside the ship. So, and even though people do say that gravity is only under molecular weight that you'll ever get gravity, it isn't, right? You get gravity under velocity, but you do need a weight, though, to obtain the gravity. So you do need an overall weight, but if you use all kinds of other forms of producing a volume of gravity and put it together, you will eventually end up with speeded velocity along with oscillation and along with waveband frequency, waveband structures underneath that help build this gravity. It's not artificial, it's physical, real gravity, and of course you can manipulate it in ways which will make you feel comfortable. So it's very similar to when you're on a ship, say, so like if you're in a naval vessel and you are, bombing it across the oceans and your vibrations are everywhere, right? The one thing that they need to do is smooth all of that out. Once they've smoothed it out, all the resistance that they were getting and all of the water resistance tension that they were hitting vanishes, and it just goes through the oceans at a lovely speed, and everybody enjoys the environment of how smooth it is. Whereas before, it was always you had to batter yourself to the point where you could manage it, and so you don't have to do that. In space, you could, if you wanted to, experience it, and you would get exactly the same feelings as everyone else that was on board a ship. You'd be feeling sick, you'd be dizzy, all sorts of disorientation all over the place. But that is like breaking, and that also appears in velocity as well. So when you hit velocity, you hit pressure and everything, you feel sick and it's all disorientation, and then you break through and you calm down and everything's all the same. So it's very, very similar. So all that feeling of being weighted and heavy is something that can exist in your spaceship when you're there, but you just need the right bands of frequencies and the oscillation of it, and you will end up in a nice smooth running, and you'll probably end up in possibly a lighter gravity than you were probably hitting as you were speeding along. It's the valve technology energy structures for it to function correctly, or to function correct. But it also increases all kinds of sensory technology and development of scanners and everything else, and all that is coming out when it comes to hooking it all up to the device. Right, we'll call the ship the device because it doesn't have to be a ship, this thing. You can have a sensor strip and a brand new sensory eye that goes all the way around the thing, and it will give you a full 360-degree environment from north to south, pole type, environment, and the view that you would get is very similar to these animals that are in the oceans that have these eyes that see a full 360-degree environment. But of course, your computer system will sort all that out and put it all down to tailored views for you to be able to manage and cope with. So that's the reason why you need the other technology, which is valve technology, but it's all developed under new structures of new materials and new things, but it still behaves like a valve. And that's the important thing. So, thank you for being patient, and, thank you for showing any kind of interest at all.